What's up, y'all? Welcome back to Seriously Fun. It's been a while.
It's been some time.
It has. Sorry about that. Lots of things going on.
Lots of life happening.
Correct. So it's been a
Sorry.
while.
Sorry. Really, we started this podcast. Sorry, I'm chewing something. Give me 1 second.
Come on, Katie.
We did start this podcast in the midst of a stay-home order.
True.
We had approximately one responsibility, and the responsibility was this podcast.
Correct.
Time has passed.
See, technically, Katie, I was working during the quarantine.
Okay. So Sarah had two responsibilities and I had one. And time has passed and now we are in October.
Katie, we started this. Did we start this in March or April?
I think March. Seriously, a long time has passed. Oh man, that's weird. So now I'm sure you guys listening are also experiencing a much different pace of life than you were in March.
Yeah.
As are Sarah and I. So that's where we're at. Things have picked up speed, which isn't all bad, but
true. I know. Who was I talking to? Oh, I was talking to my friend Emily. Shout out Emily Brooks. You know Emily,
yes.
yeah.
Oh yes.
Hey, huh?
Hey Emily, if you're listening, hey.
I don't know if she listened. I don't know if we've talked about it, but I was talking to Emily today and we were talking about like Corona and all, and I was like, honestly, and we've said this before, like I feel like life's kind of gone back to normal, even though I know that's not true. Yeah. Oh, we were talking about how Florida has like decided they're just like reopening like normal, and apparently Mississippi also just like decided that they were like no masks, like we're going back to normal.
Oh wow, I didn't hear about that.
Yeah. So I was kind of like, yeah, honestly though, oh my gosh, when I watch TV or I watch a movie, I literally have like anxiety about the fact that people in the movie are so close to each other and none of them are wearing masks. And I'm like,
yeah. It's crazy how like we've adapted this new normal of living in a pandemic, and the whole mask thing. I think I said this actually on the podcast last time. I was like watching maybe like a TikTok or something of someone in March or April, like before the mask mandate was a thing, and they were like, oh, risking my life in the grocery store, and I was like, well, why don't you have a mask on? And like that just wasn't a thing yet, and I think that's something to think about.
No, it's crazy. And like right now I'm not really ever, I'm pretty much always watching New Girl. Mm-hmm. Like that's like like, you know what I mean? Like I recently was watching 13 Reasons Why. Don't ask me why. I really hate the show, but I had to see what happened. Okay. But it's kind of scary. And so at night I would like throw on New Girl afterwards.
Yeah.
And I just watched an episode where Schmidt, one of the characters, if you don't know New Girl, is like cleaning, and he's wearing a mask that like where people are wearing like a mask, and I was like, what? And then I had to like remind myself this is like a few years old, and that like he was just wearing a mask to clean, and I was like, wait,
masks existed before now?
I know. Do you think we are ever going to go back to not wearing masks?
Yeah. Yes, I hope. Yes, I'm going.
I hope so too. I don't know why I just have this feeling that like, okay, nobody like science-y come yell at me, and I'm gonna wear my mask as long as I have to wear my mask. Honestly, even if they take away the mask mandate, I'll probably still wear it as of right now, because I want people to feel comfortable, right? Like I want people to feel comfortable, and if me wearing my mask makes you feel comfortable, then I will wear my mask whenever, wherever you want me to, right?
True.
However, what is
it really doing? Yeah.
That's what I want to know. So if you have an answer, because I feel like everything I read is different. Like some things I'll read and it's like, yes, the mask does this and all this, and then I'll read something else by a scientist that says, oh, the mask does nothing. So I'm like, I'm just confused at this point. Like, where is my unbiased information?
Yeah. And I think the harsh reality is like, maybe no one even knows if the masks are actually helping, and so this is just like a preventative measure that they're trying to help with, but we don't
Yeah.
actually know if it's helping or not. Because
Yeah.
I've seen a bunch of stuff like that too, of people being like, oh, we don't know how to deal or like the CDC doesn't know how to deal with this kind
Yeah.
of worst case scenario type of thing, and so they're trying all these things, but a lot of people, it's like their intention is good, but is it actually helping? Not sure. But, better safe than sorry type of thing.
Yeah, for sure.
If it's even
Interesting.
keeping us safer, I'm not really sure.
Yeah. I think what gets me the most, and like I said, I wear my mask. I will wear my mask for as long as you want me to be completely honest. Like, you know what I mean? It's not worth a fight,
Right.
whatever. But what gets me are some of the like, I don't know, like inconsistent things that people expect. You know what I mean? Like, here's one of them. So, some of the NFL head coaches got fined for not wearing their mask on the sideline. Here's my thing. I would bet my life that when they're all in the locker room, none of them are wearing masks.
Correct.
So if they're on the sidelines with people they're already with every day of the week, probably, and they're probably not wearing masks, what's the point of wearing a mask?
Also, at the same exact moment that Coach O doesn't have his mask on, Miles Brennan has his breath in some other school's player. Like,
Correct.
not even like his own teammates. Like, Coach O is not
Correct.
talking to the other team. The players are in the faces of the other team.
Yeah. So it's just, and also not only that, but they're touching each other. They're in close contact. So it's just kind of stuff like that where I'm like, I get the intention, but I think it's a little ridiculous that we're gonna fine whoever it was. There was like one head coach that got like a heavy fine in the NFL. We're gonna fine him hundreds of thousands of dollars for not wearing a mask when like,
that
not
doesn't
really
make a
sure
ton
if
of
that-
sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or like
While
it's
we're
hilarious. Oh, go ahead.
No, you go ahead because I'm kind of changing the subject.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that like on Thursday nights when we're like loading the cafe after the point, like the rev, there's like 50 to 100 people standing outside and they're all next to each other, but some people have masks on, some people don't, and I'm like, you're standing in line waiting to get into a bar with a mask on, but you're and like I'm a little bit confused, like what's the mask really doing for you besides you're being legal, I guess.
Yeah.
I just think that's funny and very contradictory.
No, I agree. And that's kind of stuff where I'm like, okay, like, what? I don't know. What's the.
What? No. Okay. Kendall is going ham on our living room right now, cleaning.
Oh.
And maybe Brian too. Credit to both of them. Me and Brian just went to Lighthouse and we got the new fall drink. It was pretty good. And we come back and Kendall's like, no, we're outside and Kendall like comes out with trash and she's like, I'm really in a cleaning mood right now. And then she was like, so don't feel bad that you went to Lighthouse or whatever. Like, I'm just want to clean. And then she's like, this is not about to make sense. She's like, Katie's like, feel bad. Like, she was implying that I never was going to feel bad in the first place.
Yeah.
Anyway, they're cleaning and she just asked me if she can throw away one of the like decorations for my birthday. It was like this backdrop that we put up. Anyway,
that's cool.
Anyway,
we kind of changed subject there, but I'm gonna change it again.
Go ahead.
Can we talk about our LSU Tigers? I have many feelings and thoughts.
The real reason we haven't been doing the podcast is because we're grieving the loss of the game last week.
True. Do you want to start or can I start?
I'll start because I have significantly less things to say than you.
Okay.
I'll just say it hurts. It hurts a lot. I just generally don't like losing in general. Losing is just not something that I'm really fond of. Yeah. Especially when we just haven't lost in so long. There's a lot of things going wrong with this year.
True. It's 2020.
It is 2020. It's sad. It's really sad. But I also would say that like a loss this year hurts less than a loss in last season.
Yeah.
So it's not that I'm like, I don't, those are my feelings. I'm almost like was already ready for it to be disappointed.
Interesting. Okay.
Which maybe is sad and not good of me as an LSU fan. Not that I thought we were going to lose. I'm not saying I thought we were going to lose. I really, that never crossed my mind.
Yeah.
However, when it did happen, I was like, oh, just another thing.
Yeah.
But I love LSU and I'm sad and we better win today.
I think we will. I don't know. Knock on wood. Yeah, I have lots of feelings about it. Not all bad. Well, I mean, obviously upset that we lost, but I think I'm already mad though. Like, this is what I'm upset about. I mean, I'm upset we lost. Correct. You are right. A loss this year is definitely different. There's just not as much, like, I don't know that anyone thought we were going to go into this year and be the national champions again. Yeah. I was thinking that, and we could still go 9-1, you know, like we could still win every single game from here on out. Like, you know, the Saints, every single year that the Saints are good, they always lose the first few games. True. You know what I mean?
We're trying to get warmed up. It's okay.
Yeah. There was no spring football. They've had no, you know what I mean? Like, I get it's very sad, and I was very, very upset. But it's not the end of the world, and it's not the end of like the LSU football season. Like we're only the beginning, and like it's now. What's gonna matter now is how we move on from this. Like that's really what it's gonna be.
So true, Sarah.
But here's what I'm really tired of, and I hate. Fake fans. I'll just say fake fans. People that are. Number one, people that are like said they were LSU fans last year and now all of a sudden they're not just because we lost. You're like, that's a total fake, total bandwagon. Like I have no respect for you at all. Might be a little harsh, but that's how it is.
That's what it is.
And then people who I wish I could give Myles Brennan a hug.
Yeah.
Terrible things on the internet about Myles Brennan after last week makes me so upset for many reasons. Number one, Myles Brennan does not deserve that. No. Number two, it is not Myles Brennan's fault that the other quarterback put up 623 yards.
Correct.
Myles Brennan had nothing to do with that. So if we're going to be mad at someone, we're going to be mad at the defense. That's who we're going to be mad. We're not about to be mad at Myles Brennan for the other team putting up 623 yards. In what world does that make sense? It doesn't.
It doesn't.
It doesn't. There's my number one. Number two, yes, Myles Brennan wasn't Joe Burrow, but we were never expecting him to be Joe Burrow. We knew he wasn't going to be Joe Burrow.
And if you were expecting it, you're dumb.
Exactly. Here's my other thing. People were upset about Myles Brennan, whatever. I think he actually played pretty well. I will say for my football people that he took a little too long to make decisions. He looked a little nervous sometimes. But hey, it was his first starting game since he was in high school 4 years ago.
Yeah, give the man a break.
I'd be pretty nervous too. So just lots of things. People, I think, just really getting mad at Myles Brennan to me is really dumb. I also saw some comments from really stupid people, I will say, talking about how this is Coach O's fault and we need to fire Coach O. And I was like, people, you're just stupid. Please shut your mouth. Like, you look so dumb. You look so dumb. Like, you don't even know what you're talking about, you know?
Yeah. It is sad that people, like, the whole joke, like, when they put the mustache on Joe Burrow and was like, oh, you know, for whatever, transfer.
Joe Burrow is coming, yeah.
Yeah, like, love Joe Burrow. He's in the NFL now. He's moved on from us, unfortunately. He is in his next season of life. Like, can we give respect to Myles Brennan and, like, give him a chance? And that doesn't mean we have to love Joe Burrow less.
Yep.
But we do have to come to terms with the fact that he is not on the LSU football team anymore.
And I think it's like, it's always, and I feel like this is probably anywhere, any college football team, any pro team, even like any team ever, probably. Yeah. When you lose someone like Joe Burrow, because he had to leave LSU. There was no like extra eligibility.
Right.
whoever's going to be next, even if we were to get, like, we're never going to get someone like him, ever. And I think Miles Brennan's going to turn out to be very good this season. I think we're going to be shocked by Miles Brennan. And so it's just annoying that it's like, okay, what we're not going to do is compare him to Joe Burrow. We're just not, because we can't compare anyone to Joe Burrow, you know?
Right.
So it's just that for me has been more frustrating almost than the loss, because I'm like, why can't we just be good fans and support the team and get ready for this week? Why does it have to be let's trash? I went to his Instagram, Katie.
Oh,
First of
no.
all, he hadn't posted a picture since like August, and on his on his post, people were like last week, people were commenting like trash emojis, and like people were commenting on a picture of him and his girlfriend, like, I don't know why you're with this loser, it's all this stuff, and I'm like, you people are terrible human beings. Who raised you? I just want to talk to your mom. Like,
LOL, laugh out loud. Okay, that basically he's a celebrity, and people forget that celebrities have feelings and emotions and they're actual humans.
correct.
And like, you would never tell your friend that. So
Correct. So I'm excited for today's game. I mean, I'm about to say we're playing Vanderbilt. It should be easy, but that's what I thought about last week's game too. What also is so different about this year is that we are only playing SEC teams.
yeah,
And obviously, I mean, anytime we play SEC, it's a hard game. Even if we're playing Arkansas, even if we're playing Vanderbilt, it's going to be hard because SEC, it's just different.
yeah,
And so considering that we don't have any Southeasterns to play,
right.
or ULMs to play, right? We are playing these
Southeastern and ULM right now.
we are playing like, so these top teams, even the ones that aren't really that good, but we even saw last week, everyone I think really came out. Arkansas, while Georgia did beat Arkansas last week, Arkansas was beating them for a little bit.
Yeah.
Kentucky and Auburn, which we kind of thought, okay, Auburn did pull it out towards the end, but in the beginning, Auburn was struggling. Like, Kentucky was up there.
Didn't
like,
Oklahoma lose also?
Oklahoma lost
To like a non-ranked team.
Correct.
Yeah, like,
so
everything is twisted.
Yeah, so it's like everyone's bringing their A game, especially because, I mean, some of the other conferences are having more than 10 games, but our 10 games, everyone is bringing it, you know?
Right.
So I don't know. I just feel like people, I don't know. I was just really upset about all the trash talking about Miles Brennan.
Yeah, the rainy day LSU fans.
Correct. Or even like I saw people saying like, oh, now I know why Jamar Chase like didn't want to play this season. Like, can y'all stop putting words in that man's mouth, number one.
Yeah.
And number two, I don't think Jamar Chase was like, oh, we're going to suck this year, I'm out. Like, that's not what happened.
Probably not.
But
I'm so unfamiliar with the roster. Like, whenever LSU football posted the pictures of them getting off the plane in Nashville, I was like, who are these people? I was looking on their Instagram, like, I never heard of this person before.
I know. I'm like having to learn. Even last week watching the game, I was like, wait, who's that guy? Wait, what's his name again? Like, having to learn all these people because I am not, someone like Kirsten Work, shout out to you. She knows everybody already, has been doing all the things,
has already talked to them individually. Like, she actually knows
some
how
of
it feels.
I know some of the like newer people, because a lot of people have been on the team and just haven't been playing.
Right.
So I know some of them, but like there are some people that I'm like the guy, oh my gosh, what's his name? Eli something, I think. I think he's one of the guys that caught an interception last week. I think he's a freshman. They like posted a picture of him and they were like shot of the game, and it was like him right after he caught the whatever. It was a cool shot, and like everybody was like, oh yeah, and I'm like, who is this man? Like, I don't even know him.
Yeah, honestly.
But I'm excited. Honestly, even if we don't do well this season, I will always love LSU football, and I will watch every single game regardless if we're 0-10. Like,
exactly. Well, I don't know that I'll watch every game because I'm just disloyal, but I still love LSU football, and I'm just glad that we're playing. Like, I'm glad that the game is happening.
Mm-hmm. Me too. My favorite thing, even though it sucks,
I'm glad that we even have something to be upset about.
True. Better than not having anything.
Yeah.
It's funny because my favorite thing I used to say after every game last year, even really just the day, my favorite time on Twitter is post LSU win
Yes.
or just LSU game day. And so even though, yeah, Twitter wasn't like the most fun last Saturday after winning, it was still like I felt alive. When I tell you, Katie, I watched the game at Walk-Ons here in Bossier. I got in the car and was like blasting Colin back. Like I felt more alive than I felt since the national championship in January.
Oh my gosh.
Like I was like, this is real. We're about to play football. Like I'm ready. So yeah, I don't really care. I mean, obviously I want us to do well. And I think it'd be so fun for us to at least make it, if not to at this point, I don't really know what the odds are since everything's different this year with like teams not playing and like different conferences not playing and then us having a shortened schedule. I actually don't know like what the odds of now of us. I guess it also depends on how other teams do, whatever. I would at least like to play a good bowl game. That would be fun. Even if we don't make it to whatever, a nice bowl game. I'll take it. Like
we'll take it.
I just love
again next year.
And I really hope that Miles Brennan like gets better and continues to do well because I want him to play in the NFL. I know that he like it's kind of early but last year he's like my age, I think. Like I think this is his. No, maybe
this is his last year of eligibility at LSU.
But I'm trying to think if he was like redshirted his first year or something. Like this might be his 5th year.
Okay.
I don't really know. He's either my age or a year younger than me.
Gotcha.
I'm trying to think. I bet he's a year younger than me because I think they were saying the last time he started a football game was his senior year, which was the fall of 2015 when I was already in college.
Okay.
So he might be a year younger. No. Yeah, I think it doesn't really matter. But I would just like to see him in the NFL. I think that'd be fun to continue to watch Miles Brennan.
You were in college in 2015?
Yes. I graduated high school in the spring of 2015, and then my first semester was fall of 2015.
All right.
I
believe you.
You believe me. Okay, thanks. I'm glad you do.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I just forget that we're not the same age, and I very much was a sophomore in high school in 2015, so.
This fall of 2015? No, you would have been. No. What year did you graduate? 2017.
I graduated in 2017. My freshman year of college was fall of 2017.
So fall of 2015, you would have been a junior in college.
So high school.
In high school.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you been following the Saints at all?
Oh, and I have not. I told myself after last season that this season I was gonna like be on my best NFL game, and then Corona happened, and I just forgot everything about myself.
Yeah.
So no, I have not been keeping up with the Saints.
Gotcha. We haven't been doing too hot, but
yeah. I mean, I know last weekend was not good for Louisiana in general.
Yeah, it sucks because. Like, first of all, Michael Thomas is hurt.
Okay.
I think that hurts us a lot more than I think people realized. And I feel like too, always the calling that happens against us is ridiculous.
Right. The refs are just eternally not for us.
Yeah. I've been paying attention. When I was home, I've really been trying to keep up with the Saints and the Bengals just to see how my husband Joe has been doing.
Right.
But last weekend was like the first. So I guess last week was week 3. So week 1 and week 2 I watched and like kept up and everything. And then last week I was going to, and I was excited because a lot of times when we really get into NFL, I don't actually get to watch the games because they're Sundays and they're in the middle of the afternoon when I'm going to church, or it's right after church gets out. And it's like, I don't have time to like,
Yeah.
So, but last week the Saints were Sunday night football, so it started at 7:30. So I was like, oh, perfect. Like I'll watch the game after youth. Like I'll probably miss the beginning, but I could watch it. But my truck had other plans for me, and I had a flat tire, so did not in fact get to watch the game.
Yes,
Yeah.
that did happen.
Uh-huh.
Sarah, you are getting a new truck.
I am getting a new truck.
One with 4 tires that have air in them.
Correct. Very correct. I am very excited about my new truck. I'm a little nervous because it's a lot bigger than my truck
Yeah.
that I have now. It's an F-150. It has a camper on the back. Do you know what that is?
The towing thing.
No.
I thought that's how you explained it to me.
No, I do have a towing thing, and I have a thing on the front that I can like wheel, but it's a cover that goes on the back of the bed. So the bed is covered, but it's not like a flat cover. It's a huge like thing that sits on the top of the bed.
Okay, I think I've seen that before.
Yeah, so it has one of those. So it's just big. Like it's just a big truck. I have to step on a thing to get into it. Like
Oh
I
my
can't.
gosh.
Yeah. It's big. It's actually only. I guess I don't think you could consider this a 2-door because there is a second door, but there's no handle.
You like open it from the
Like
inside.
yeah, you have to open from the inside. So that's gonna be different than what I have now. But I'm very excited. It's my granddad's truck, but he got a new car and he does not need 3 cars.
Correct.
So he just got a new car and then he's giving me his truck and he's giving one of my cousins, Melissa, shout out Melissa. She's getting his other car.
That's so kind of him.
It is. So yeah, I'm very excited. We're kind of waiting. Well, so I'm selling my truck. And then yeah, getting this one. But I'm actually like it's pretty much sold. Like I have someone that's gonna buy the truck. But it's gonna take like a while until I can get the new truck just because okay, this is about to be sad, so just forewarning. The truck is in my grandma and my granddad's name, so we can't change ownership until we have my grandma's death certificate.
Yeah.
Because they like both have to be there to sign it over to me, but obviously we will have her certificate, but we don't know when that could take up to 6 weeks to come in.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I'm very excited.
Yeah. That is cool.
Speaking of cars, I have not told the podcast.
Oh, they need no more time to pass before they hear this story.
So,
Everyone
a couple
grab
weeks
a
ago.
snack.
Huh?
Everyone grab a snack.
True. Grab the popcorn. A couple weeks ago, I was at again, my grandma's funeral, and so a lot of family came in town. And one of my aunts has 11 brothers and sisters. I might have said this before. Have I said this before? I tell people all the time because that's how I have connections to everyone in the world is because she has 11 brothers and sisters.
Okay.
And this aunt and uncle, like me and my mom, are very close with, so I know like all of her family, even though like she's married into, so people always get confused too because they're like, oh, how do you know so and so? I'm like, oh, kind of my aunt and uncle, but like not really. And they'll be like, what? And then I'll be like, well, it's my aunt's brothers or whatever. And they're like, oh, so your uncle? And I'm like, well, no, because it's my aunt that's married to my mom's brother.
Yeah.
So a lot of her family came to the funeral because our families have been family forever and ever and ever way before I was born, long time. So they come to the funeral, and I noticed that one of her brothers and his wife are there. That I actually know. I babysat some of their kids when I lived in Baton Rouge. They live in Baton Rouge, and so I know them pretty well. And I also know that they have a Tesla.
A what?
A Tesla.
Okay.
So when their Tesla's about 2 years old. When they first got it, I didn't really care about Teslas. I barely knew what they were. And so I have seen it before, but when they first got it, we were at like a family event and one of their kids was like, let me show you the Tesla. And I was like, yeah, cool, whatever. And like showed it, but like, I don't really remember it. I wasn't as intrigued as I am now, whatever. So I see them at the funeral and I'm like, I wonder like if they have the Tesla here. So I like literally walk outside. It was like during this visitation. So it wasn't that we were sitting in the service and I was like,
Yeah.
but we were just kind of standing around and there was a moment where I like wasn't really talking to anyone. So like I walked outside to like look in the parking lot to see if they drove the Tesla. And sitting right there.
And there she is
the Tesla. So obviously very excited, whatever. But I'm like also a somber day. I'm not about to, whatever. So after the funeral, we all went back to my aunt's house, the one that has the 12 brothers or 11 brothers and sisters. So we go to her house and I was like, oh my gosh, I wonder if they're going to be there. Like, I don't know if they're, coming, if they're going back home, whatever. And so we pull in the driveway and what's sitting right there? The Tesla. So my mom's like, you should just like ask her to go look at it. Like she'll let you, like she'll show it to you, whatever. And I'm like, I know, but I don't want to be annoying, like whatever. So a little time passes. I'm like, I didn't know how long she was going to be there, whatever. So I'm outside in the backyard and I see my mom and her name's Jen. And a few other people walk outside and my mom's like, we're going to look at the Tesla. So I go like running over and Jen's like, yeah, your mom told me that you really like Teslas. I was like, I'm obsessed with Teslas.
Yeah.
So she was showing us everything. And like, so, okay, in the front of a car, is normally where people's like engines and battery and all the things are. Well, she like opens the front and it's a trunk. And so she's like, yeah, we call this the front trunk. And she's like, so we have like tons of room because they have a back trunk, the front trunk, everything. So then we like go and we sit, and she's showing me stuff on the screen and like, there's literally karaoke. Like she clicked karaoke and all the songs you could ever think of come up and it like plays on the screen, the song and the karaoke.
On the iPad. I
was like, literally, what? Like, it was just insane. So she's telling us a whole bunch of different cool stuff. She was telling us about the whole summon feature, how they can be, like, the car can be parked and they can summon it to come get them. Telling us about all this kind of stuff. She's showing me the app, like, just cool stuff. So my mom was like, we have to get a picture. Like, we should get a picture of you in front of it. And I was like, I don't want to be weird and, like, to be taking pictures in front of her car. And she goes, Sarah, like, do you want to drive it? And I was like,
are you sure?
And she's like, yeah, like, do you want to drive it? And I was like, yes. Like, are you sure it's okay that I drive it? And she's like, yeah. She's like, we love letting people drive it. Like, yeah, we let anybody drive it. Like, sure. And I'm like, what? So I don't have shoes on. So like I run inside to get shoes. I run in and I'm like screaming to my family, I'm going to drive this Tesla. And my family's like, cool. Like they don't care. So my mom said she was going to ride with me. And then Jen, she goes, do you want me to come with? Like I could just stay, like y'all can take it. Like I don't have to be there. And I was like, no, I want you to come just because I've never driven a Tesla. Like I would like, also it would just make me feel better that the owner of the car is with me and I'm not just like driving someone's Tesla.
Right.
So she's like, yeah, sure, whatever. So we get in and we start going and like we went out the neighborhood and went down like a main road and then like turned around in a shopping center to come back. But I never once ever the entire time had to touch the brakes because
you told me that and like I just don't understand.
Basically it's like a go-kart or like a golf cart where like when you press on the gas you go, but as soon as you start getting off the gas, it slows.
Yeah.
So there's no need for the brake. And so I had it, so they have different profiles, right? Like changes the seat, the way that the car drives changes too. So like I was on her husband's profile because she's pretty short and I'm obviously taller. So I needed the seat to move. So she's like, oh, just go to his profile. And she's like, but he does have it on whatever mode, meaning that as soon as your foot lets off that gas, you're stopping.
Yeah.
it's really harsh. And so she was saying that her mode she's on chill mode. So hers is, a little less harsh. But yeah, so that took a little bit of getting used to because a lot of times when you're driving, you just let off the gas when you don't really need to be accelerating anymore. Yeah. But this, you're like,
you're like stopping.
Yeah, so get to the shopping center and then she's like, do you want to try auto drive and like see if it'll take us? Because she was saying that it works great and that like they have it plugged. Like she said her husband uses it a lot and that's the car he drives like every day. That's his like everyday car. Yeah. And so she was saying that the roads have to have lines so the Tesla knows like what's going on. And so she was like, sometimes if they're faded or like if it's not a road that the car drives on a lot, it like doesn't do well with auto drive just because she was like, it has to know what's going on. And so I'm like, yeah, let's try it. So we get on like the main road and I literally to go into auto drive, you like put where you're going. So I had to put the address in and then you like the little like normally where like your, I don't like where your windshield wipers might be or like where you would move to go like park, drive, whatever, you literally just like double click it and then like you're in auto drive. So I double click it and like the car takes over. You can like feel it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and it says, she was like, you have to keep your hands on the wheel. Like, you should keep your hands on the wheel. And she's like, but don't touch the wheel, because if you like touch it, like it'll immediately shut off, and like now you're in charge. So she was like, keep your hands on the wheel just in case, obviously, like, so you're not like whatever, especially because we're in town, like we're not on the interstate or anything. But she was like, yeah, let's just see. And so literally I'm like just sitting there as the car is accelerating like it needs to. A car was coming and turning, and the car slowed down and then accelerated back.
It's so insane.
Y'all,
if anyone is listening and has ever been in a Tesla or driven a Tesla and like experienced this auto driving feature, we need to know. I need like everyone's testimony about their personal experience with a Tesla, because like Sarah's story is cool, but I just don't believe you. I'm kidding. I believe you, but I need to experience it for myself.
It's so cool. And then also, I forgot, whenever we first got out the neighborhood and we were kind of on like the main road, she was like, I don't want you to like be crazy, but she was like, just accelerate as hard as you can and let's see how fast it'll go. And I was like, okay. And so I didn't want to go too fast, because I was like in the town, but I like I accelerated probably from about 10 to 55 in split seconds. Like,
I love that.
It was insane. So yeah, it was very cool. I like literally couldn't even believe that happened. And I was like, okay, now I have to have a Tesla.
Right.
Like, now that I've actually experienced it and it's not just all this like fantasy, like I need one. And she was telling me like that sometimes you can find good ones used.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so crazy. And like, you don't think about it until like, it's like when you think about a Tesla, you're like, oh, expensive. First of all, they are expensive. They are. But they're not like $200,000 like you're thinking. You know what I mean? Like, you could get one for a basic Tesla for like $40,000, which is a lot for a car. I'm not saying it's not. That's a lot for a car. I probably will never in my life buy a $40,000 car. It's a lot. But it's not $200,000 like you think of when you think of like a really nice car.
Yeah.
And so she was saying that you spend money, but you're not paying for gas. You're not paying for any type of engine repair, or like, you know what I mean? Like, you're never, the only thing that you have to consistently buy are tires.
Right.
And she was like, eventually I'm sure like the batteries die. And she's like, but they're supposed to last for like ever and ever and ever and ever and ever. Like, they last longer than a normal car battery. Because charging, like, because you're all consistently charging it. Literally, it's just insane. And so it's like, really, when you think about it, like, if you were really going to sit down and like you did have the money, like I obviously will probably never have the money to buy one, but if you did and you thought about it logically, it probably would make sense to just invest in a Tesla.
Right.
And like, they have it, it's pretty cool. So she says they have a Tesla Model 3 and it's a 2018. And she said that they have an extra battery in theirs. She was like, basically it comes with like the basic battery pack, and then you can add batteries to expand how many miles it can go.
Yeah.
Without needing to be charged. And so they added an extra battery because they wanted to be able to get from Baton Rouge to Mobile without having to stop, because their daughter lives in Mobile. So she said, I think she said, is that 300 or 400 miles? Probably only whatever it is, 300 or 400 miles, I can't remember. That's how far it can go without stopping. And so then, this is cool too. My question was, they have a charger at their house that they like invested into, because they were saying that with the wall, like you could just use a wall outlet, but she said that it would take all night just to charge 15 miles with a wall outlet.
Like, so, you need a lot more power. Yeah.
Correct. You would need a lot more power. So they invested in like, it's not a supercharger, because the superchargers are what you have, like that's what you go to at like a gas station or wherever they are, but there's a name for it, like other than just like a normal charger. So they have one, but I was like, what happens when you're traveling and you need to charge? Like, you have to use the app. Like, how do you know where they are? And she's like, oh no, she's like, when you get in the car, like if you're going to travel somewhere, you put your destination and it like gives you the route you have to go in so that you hit the Tesla chargers. And she was saying that like it'll map out, so like you don't think about anything. You literally just drive, and then when it tells you to get off an exit, you're like, oh, that's because I'm running low on battery and they're telling me to go charge.
Right. That is I'm calling a Tesla dealership after this podcast.
It's insane. Oh, I've been looking at them. My biggest thing is, even if one day I could afford one, or if I saved like crazy and never did anything ever again
Yeah.
and like saved enough money, I wouldn't be able to afford the insurance probably. Like
True.
that's what would get me. So I literally, which I didn't realize this meant I was going to get harassed by every insurance company, but I did one of those like free quote things.
Yeah.
To, like just see how much it would be. Well, now I have all these emails and phone calls and text messages from all these insurance agents that are like, "Hey, Sarah," and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I don't actually have a Tesla. Like, I was just serious."
I was joking. Please stop contacting me.
Yeah. So,
Good
but
to
it was
know.
probably the coolest thing in my whole life.
My eye just twitched so hard. Yes. No. Oh, that's so fascinating.
Yeah.
So
Now I really you can't rent a Tesla till you're 20. Like you have to be 25 to rent a Tesla. Any luxury car you have to be 25. Where like I could go rent a Toyota Camry right now if I want, a Kia Soul if I wanted to. It would just like cost more because I'm not 25, but you like literally can't rent any
yeah.
type of luxury car until you're 25. So the day I turn 25, I think I really want to like go rent a Tesla and just like drive around for the day.
Happy birthday.
Hmm.
You could drive so far.
I mean, maybe not, but
I don't know. I mean, the point is driving the car, so
I mean, true, but like,
you drive it's about you. I don't know. Like you drive around Louisiana
and pick up all my friends
and pick up all your friends, and
and do
then
like carpool karaoke
that's a very fun
and
birthday.
literally just, yeah, catch me on my 25th birthday, not next summer, but the summer after.
Perfect. I'll see you there.
But yeah, very cool. I'm definitely like more obsessed now.
I need to find someone with a Tesla. I'm about to. Sarah, I think I maybe said this last week. The person that like parked at Highland Coffee and like just opened their butterfly doors and was like getting their toddler out of their Tesla,
Yeah.
and I almost like walked over and was just like, "Can I just like look at your car real quick?" In my car, and that's just weird. But I feel like Tesla owners understand how cool their cars are.
Okay, that's what I was gonna say because Jen kept saying like, because I kept freaking out and I was like, I'm sure you're like, why are you freaking out? This is just our car. And she was like, no. She's like, yeah, people always think it's cool. And she's like, that's why we love to let people drive it because like we want people to be able to experience it too. Like,
Yeah.
you know. So no, I definitely think that Tesla owners have to know that like they have the coolest car ever and that people like, that people are fascinated by. Whenever I
Exactly.
was driving, I mean, like pass cars and stuff. I was like, oh my gosh, I wonder if they're thinking like, oh my gosh, who's that girl driving that Tesla?
Definitely. Me, every time I pass someone in a Tesla, or I feel like there's a lot of like G Wagons in Baton Rouge, which I personally don't even like think that those cars are cute or really anything, but it is kind of a statement. And I'm like, who are you? Like, what do you do?
It's interesting to me about cars because I wouldn't say that I like love cars. Like I don't.
Yeah.
But like for me, I don't really care. Like the reason I love Teslas is because all the cool stuff it can do.
Yeah.
Like a G Wagon to me, what is cool about that?
Yeah.
Other than, yeah, I'm rich. You know what I mean? Like, there's nothing cool to me about a G Wagon. Or even, like, I don't know, and maybe car people are about to, like, attack me, but, like, a Lambo. Like, cool. It's, like you said, it's a statement, but, like, what does a Lambo do? I mean, I guess maybe something about how fast it can go or whatever. But to me, like, that's not the cool, you know what I mean? Like, that's whatever. I don't care about that.
And that's why I think Teslas are just like set apart because like yeah you can have like a really nice BMW and you can have a really nice Mercedes that costs more than a Tesla, but
Yeah.
I do actually really like cars and I think they're cool and I'd like to
Mhm.
know about them, and when you drive a nice car I think you're a cool person.
Yeah.
But what does your BMW like? Does your BMW talk to you? Does it take gas? Like it does. Like Teslas just do so many other cool things
Yeah.
besides drive and look cool and expensive.
Yeah.
Just like they're really up here for me.
Same. Like I really could care less about a Lamborghini or a BMW or an Audi or whatever,
Yeah.
but a Tesla that can that can drive itself.
Come on, people. True. Um,
What?
I actually don't know how much time it's been.
I genuinely have no idea. I don't have my phone by me, so I have no idea what time we started. I'm
We
not wearing my watch.
started. We've been
Yeah.
talking for at least 45 minutes.
Ooh. Wait, I had another story I wanted to tell, like what I said earlier. So last night, this happened yesterday. So I decided that I was gonna try and make potato soup.
Okay.
Okay. I really like potato soup. And I found a recipe at my grandma's house for potato soup, and she used to make the best potato soup. After last night, I realized that the recipe was a recipe for potato soup, but it was not her potato soup. Like it was some other potato soup because this was not it.
Yeah.
And when I told my mom like the ingredients, she was like, "Yeah, that's not what Grandma put in potato soup." So it was just a recipe but I still tried it, right? It was okay. It wasn't terrible. The bottom kind of burned for some reason, even though I felt like I kept it on low heat pretty much the whole time. And then it just was like it was like really thick. Like I don't know, it wasn't what I was wanting it to be.
Yeah.
But it wasn't terrible. Like I ate a bowl of it, whatever. Well, I was like, okay, I'm gonna start cleaning up and whatever because I was going to the movies for 8:45. So I was trying to clean up because I needed to leave at like 8 because the movie theater is like 25 minutes from my house. So I'm like trying to clean up, putting stuff away, and then I'm like, okay, where am I gonna put? Like, how am I gonna store this soup? Stupid me didn't just think, oh, why don't I just put the lid on the pot and put it in the fridge? But I was like, okay, I don't have any big Tupperware. Like, all my Tupperware is like small things for me to keep like one, a portion. So I was like, I'm gonna fill every single one of my Tupperwares, and I'm not gonna have room for it in my fridge. So I'm kind of panicking, and then I'm like, well, I've seen my mom put like chili and stuff and like spaghetti in a gallon Ziploc baggie. So I'm like, this soup is like it's not runny, like it's thick. So it like that should work. It was a great idea. And it probably would have worked if I wasn't an idiot and tried to pour instead of I don't have a ladle, like I was using just a spoon, and it would have probably taken me 2 hours to spoon it into a bag. So I was like, I'm just going to pour it and like hope for the best. The best did not happen and the worst happened. And I wish I would have taken a picture of it, but I was so angry when it happened. It went all over the floor, all over the counter. I keep my medication like out on the counter, all over my medicine bottles. Oh, it was everywhere.
Oh my gosh.
Everywhere. And I'm also panicking because I'm like, I have to leave in less than 10 minutes. Less than 10 minutes.
And now you have soup all over your kitchen.
Yeah, and it wasn't even soup. This is going to be really gross, so just telling you now, people, it's gross. It looked like if you would have walked in and didn't know what it looked like vomit.
Yeah.
Because it was thick and it was chunky because it had potatoes.
Okay.
You are welcome for that. If I had to experience it, you do too.
Right.
So I'm like, how do I clean this up? Like, how do I even clean this up? So I use paper towels and, as disgusting as it is, just kind of scoop it all up to throw away. And then I'm like, okay, now I need to like clean the floor, like, because it's going to be sticky and nasty. So I go get my little Swiffer thing, and I have it's like one of those dry or wet ones.
Yeah.
Well, I bought it's not like actually Swiffer. It was like Walmart brand.
Right.
And I've never used it before. It sucks. I put the little wet thing on it, right? And I'm like, hey, perfect. This will just take a few minutes and like it'll be done. While I'm in the middle of doing it, the little wet thing falls off.
Oh no.
And I'm like, so I literally panic. So I do the best that I can because at this point I'm about to be late. So I like use a wet paper towel and wipe everything down, and I'm like, I can deal with this when I get home. Mm-hmm. So I get home last night and I'm like, what am I gonna do? So I literally took like Mr. Clean magic erasers and like wiped the floor. I have like the kitchen ones, and so you're probably not supposed to use them on the floor, but whatever, used on the floor, and then did all the counters and everywhere that the soup got. So luckily it was clean, and I went ahead and cleaned the pot because I was like, I do not want to have to deal with this tomorrow. Like, I will do it tonight. But it was a whole experience that I will never do again.
Oh my gosh. That reminds me of when I was visiting you and you were just like, I like doing my dishes.
Correct.
And I just will never say that. That sentence will just never come out of my mouth. I like doing the dishes.
Yeah.
This is what you get for saying that.
But I do like doing it. I literally don't buy dish soap, and I like dishwasher soap.
Yeah.
I only buy like, Dawn, because I never put my dishes in the dishwasher because I don't ever have enough dishes to put in the dishwasher.
Yeah.
Like it's just easier to wash dishes, and I really don't mind it. Literally, yeah, when y'all came and I was washing the dishes, I think Juan was like, "Oh, I feel so bad. Like you're washing the dishes. Like let me like help." And I was like, "No, I like washing dishes. Like it's not a problem." So yeah.
That's just a beautiful thing. Also, my microphone. I don't know that it has been plugged in this whole time.
Oh.
Like, it'll pick up from the computer or the microphone. It just might sound bad.
Oh, well, here we go.
Perfect.
But yeah, so I was trying to be domestic and make some dinner, and then that happened. So I will not probably be making any. Back to cereal for me.
Did you salvage any soup?
Oh, there was some left, but at that point, I literally threw it away because I was like, I don't want to eat this because now I want to vomit thinking about it being all over the floor. So no.
Yeah.
So there was some, and it wasn't that great. Like it wasn't
worth saving.
No, so I wasn't like, this was the best meal ever, and I just ruined it all. Like I was kind of like, okay, at least it was something that I didn't really like that I did that to, and not like my favorite meal. So that's where we are.
Here's a good thing. The weather that we've been having.
Yes.
Incredible.
Correct.
Incredible. I love fall and winter. I love every season, whatever. But I just like when it first becomes fall, these are just some of my favorite days.
Yep.
And I really want to make some gumbo.
Oh, I wish I could do that, but I'm sure I'd mess it up.
Yeah, I don't exactly know how to make a gumbo, but and I also like don't have a big enough pot, so maybe I'm gonna go home and steal a pot from my house and then bring it back, or maybe I'll just make my dad make me. I don't know. No, but Kendall keeps being like, "Katie, I need you to make a gumbo," and I'm like, "I need to make it. I want to make it. We want to eat that."
Yeah.
So stay tuned for my gumbo making story.
If you make gumbo, I cannot wait to see the video.
Of course.
I would love to make gumbo. I could barely make potato soup. Pretty sure gumbo is not going to be something that I can whip up.
No, I'm low-key a chef.
Oh.
I could do it.
I believe you.
I think I'm a good cook.
Okay.
I'm a lazy cook. Like I don't like cooking for myself only, and like if I'm hungry, I want to eat now, not in 45 minutes.
Yep.
So I'm like, all right, peanut butter and jelly it is. But when the time is right, I can really pull it together.
Yeah.
A couple weeks ago, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
A couple weeks ago, I made enchiladas from scratch.
Okay.
Like I made the enchilada sauce because also I'm just a little bit dumb and I didn't like literally in the moment I was like, I'm just gonna make enchiladas. Like I had like the filling and I had some like corn tortillas and I was like, yeah, sure, that'll work. And then I look up a recipe and they're like, oh, enchilada sauce. I'm like, oh, I don't have that. But then I looked up a recipe for homemade enchilada sauce and I said, I got it.
It was good?
Yeah, and it was really good.
Wow. See, here's my thing. I never have, like, if I were to do that, first of all, I would never have the ingredients for it.
Yeah.
Like, I would never just have stuff in my pantry / fridge to make enchiladas. Like, I wouldn't. So I have to strategically plan. Like, if I'm going to make something, I have to get those things at the store because I'm never going to have, never, ever. My pantry and fridge right now is cereal, milk, some pretzels.
I
think I have some applesauce. And I have a few lean cuisines in the freezer. Like that's what I keep in the house because that's what I eat. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm never gonna be like, oh, I want some chicken enchiladas. I'd have to go to the store and buy all the ingredients.
Right, like from scratch.
Yeah, I don't have. So that's another thing too, because sometimes I'll be like, oh, I want to make this, but I don't feel like going to the store, so I'm just not going to.
True. It also helps that I live with 2 other people that also buy pretty diverse groceries, and like we're just chill about it. Like, hey, I'm about to use your can of corn, like stuff like that. So.
Yeah, I wish that it's also hard cooking, like you kind of just said, for one person.
Totally.
Like it is just me. If I would have kept that whole pot of potato soup, I could have been eating potato soup for the next month for every meal.
Yeah.
Like it's hard to cook for one person. And I also don't really like leftovers. I'm not a leftover person. And so it's hard because I always have leftovers.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I eat cereal.
very difficult. Sometimes I'll like making dinner and it's like 2 portions and then I'll like eat the leftovers for lunch the next day,
Mhm.
depending on what it is. Like if it's pasta, easy, like I'll eat that leftover, but if it's like cooked vegetables, sometimes I don't want to eat that leftover.
Yeah.
Um,
Have
but
I ever have I ever told you what me and my roommates did our sophomore year at LSU when I lived in ECA?
I think you did tell the podcast that one time y'all like took turns cooking dinner on a different night and it
Yep.
just worked beautifully.
That was the best time of my life. The money that I saved, because every week I'd go to the store, right? And I would obviously have to get other things just like than what I was cooking because I'd have to have snacks and my lunch
Yeah.
and what I was going to eat for breakfast if I had breakfast. Like, so it wasn't just stuff for dinner, but it was mainly just what am I making for dinner this week? And so I would go to the store every week and I would sometimes spend $20.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times too, I'd still have stuff from previous weeks that I could reuse. Literally $20, and then I never, ever, 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 ever ate out during the week because someone was always cooking dinner.
It's so
You know what I mean?
nice.
And then for lunch, me and one of my roommates, Tyler, we ate lunch together every single day. And so we ate in our apartment and ate like together. So I wouldn't, I mean, every now and then I'd pick up Chick-fil-A or something, but
Yeah.
I wasn't, it was the best thing. And everyone I ever talk to now about it, they're always like, that would never work. I don't know how you did it. And I'm like, look, you think that, but we had no problems. None. Like
I
it was
think
the best time of my life.
I think the thing that would get in the way for us or even just myself personally is like I'm not on the same evening schedule as them.
Hey, but that's okay. We weren't either. We weren't either. If it was, let's say it was my night to cook, but Tyler had a meeting until 8:00,
Yeah.
we just wouldn't eat together. Like I would eat and then either put it in the fridge and then she'd eat, or I'd leave it out or whatever.
Okay.
Or if let's say one week, oh, this week I actually have this thing, we would just switch nights. Like that's what people always say, like, oh, well, we don't have the same schedules. I'm like, but we worked around it, and
They all just cooked for each other, not necessarily ate dinner together every night.
Oh yeah. I mean, a lot of nights we did eat, like if we were all home, like yeah, we would eat together. Literally, our apartment felt so homey.
Yeah.
Because literally sometimes, like let's say I'd get home and it was 5:30, 6:00, like I had a long day, and I get home and my roommate's in the kitchen making dinner, like, and my other roommates it just felt so homey, you know?
Yeah, it's cute.
And so I'd be in my room and I'd hear dinner's ready, and like
Yeah.
like it was so, and then we would wash dishes together.
That's
and so
cute.
that wasn't every single night. There were a lot of times like where we would have stuff, like when I had life group or when I had this or, whatever, like we would just eat when we could, like on Thursday nights normally. I think this was before, well, for a while it was before I was on the worship team. And so I would eat just before I went to the point.
Yeah.
And then when I was on the worship team, literally when I got home after the point, there would be my leftovers sitting on a plate wrapped up, and I just pop it in. So it was the best.
That is so beautiful. I need that.
It was the best. It was really, and like, I'm not a chef. I made probably the same thing every single month. Every week with just like, you know what I mean? Like I would just swap things. But yeah, people are all every time I tell people that, that's always their response. Oh, well, we don't have the same schedule, or oh, that would never work, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, you think that? But like it worked perfectly.
No, that's cool.
Never had a problem. And it worked. There's only 3 of us. But Tyler's boyfriend, now fiance, Andrew, like was in on it too.
Yeah.
So like he would cook one night and he would always eat with us.
Yeah. No, that's funny. I just remembered I was going to bring this up before. A girl that was in your life group your senior year for like a hot second came to my life group like 2 weeks ago, and it was so funny because we're like going around, like I'm making everyone like tell everyone who they are, and she's like, oh, I'm not about to say anything about it. Her name's Macy. She's in vet school, whatever. And I was like, should I disclose her identity? Anyway, so she is like, oh, I was actually in Chi Alpha in undergrad. And so, of course, I'm like, oh, like, whose life group were you in? Like, and she, like, couldn't remember your name. Yeah. And I was, like, thinking that it's, like, someone that I'm not even, like, I don't even know who they are. And then she finally is like, Sarah? And I'm like, Sarah who? And then I'm like, wait, Sarah McCurley. And then it was just the funniest thing because obviously, like, she doesn't know that we are best friends, and and so it like gets to me, and I'm like, so me and Sarah have a podcast, and I don't know, maybe we were doing like a fun fact or something. It
Yeah.
was so hilarious.
No, that's so fun. When you text me that, I'm like, who? Because she came, she's friends, she was in Tiffany White's sorority.
That.
And so Tiffany texted me one day randomly and she's like, hey, I gave one of my friends from, it might have been her little or like,
Yeah.
okay, yeah, your phone number, like she's looking for a life group. And I was like, oh, cool. Yeah. And she came a few times. I think she was really busy. Like she was a really busy person that had a lot of things going on. But she came to the point a few times. Like, yeah.
No, and the funniest thing is she was like, because maybe I had told her that like I was on leadership that semester, but didn't do it in the spring, and she was like, "Oh, like does every life group stop in the spring?" And I was like, "No, like that's not how it's supposed to be." But like coincidentally, that semester was
That
just
was the
crazy because she was like, "Yeah, I don't think Sarah was doing a life group in the spring," and I was like, "Yeah." Whatever, like I told her, I was like, you were doing an internship, whatever.
yeah.
It was so funny. I was like, no, like this life group will be all year.
That's
It
hilarious.
was
But that
so
is a
funny.
really weird like coincidence, like both of those.
Yeah.
That's so funny. That's so cool though. I wonder how she got reconnected, you know?
Okay, so another girl that was like
I love how we're
in
just talking about all of this on the podcast right now.
LOL, everyone join my life group.
This is actually what we purposely brought this up so we could talk about life groups so that if you're not in life group, you can join Katie's.
Hit me in my DMs or my phone number. You're like youth kids text me.
I'm dead.
If you were in Sarah's youth group at the chapel and you're coming to LSU, talk to me.
We'd actually high key about to like text all of them and be like, yo, what y'all doing at LSU?
Wait, actually though, what am I trying to say? Another girl that was like joined Nicole's life group last year, her name's Natasha. She's in vet school. So they are friends.
Gotcha.
And yeah, Natasha invited her. So
Gotcha. That's
yeah,
cool.
so funny.
That's so funny. Dang. What a small world we live in.
No, truly.
Wait, before we wrap up, can we please talk about something? Can we please talk about David Dobrik's perfume ad?
Sure.
What are your thoughts?
So, if you guys don't know, David Dobrik he came out with a perfume, two perfumes, called David's Perfume. Very original, very creative. And I was, on Instagram, as I do, and I come across this video of him, basically this advertisement for his new perfume, and David is like, it's like a little movie montage of David looking like he's in love with this model girl. And I sent it to Sarah and I'm like, what is going on here? And we had a quick exchange, but I'm in love with David Dobrik.
Katie, I've been seeing, I'm gonna have to send you some of the TikToks I saw.
Oh, please.
Obviously, I love David Dobrik before this ad.
Okay, here's the thing. David Dobrik's brand is like 12-year-old boy.
Correct.
Like that is his every ounce of his being gives me 12-year-old boy vibes. And for a hot second, he decides to pop off like he's trying to act grown. Yeah. And I'm here for it.
Katie, I literally, when I watched it, this was me the whole time.
For those of you listening to the podcast, Sarah's jaw is on the floor.
I was like, who is this man? Who is this man? And how do I make him fall in love with me?
No, actually though. And it's funny because he's not even acting that different. Like he's still like laughing in every clip and like being like just wild and crazy, but something about it.
The clip I'm gonna have to I will definitely send you the TikToks I saw, but one of them is of the clip, and it's like kind of weird when you think about it, because like, why is this so attractive? But the toothbrush scene,
that's what I've like seen a million comments about, the toothbrush one. Can look at my computer right now.
What happened?
It's like the light glare from my okay, this is
but the toothbrush scene,
He's with the girl and they're like brushing each other's teeth. Like, you know,
they're
like
brushing their own teeth, and he like is like trying to pull the.
right.
This sounds so weird, but if you watched it, he's like trying to pull like her toothbrush out, and then he does, and like he grabs her arm, like just
Link in description.
just go watch it and you'll understand.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
probably
definitely.
won't, but girls, just go watch it. I saw one that was like not me thirsting over David Dobrik these days, and then like had clips, and I was just like,
LOL. I still die though every time he posts anything. It's like, where's the vlogs at?
yes.
Like every comment is like, but the vlogs though. Like
I like really have a feeling that they're never coming back.
I don't want that to be real.
I like really think it might be though.
Sarah, remember when you had never seen a single David Dobrik vlog? Remember the days when that was a fact?
That feels like 12 years ago.
It really does, because like David Dobrik's such a strong part of your identity now. Maybe not your identity, your brand though.
My brand for sure. No, honestly, it's true. There was a time where I had not seen a single David Dobrik vlog, and now I really think they may not ever be coming back.
That's really sad.
At least he's still creating content on other platforms.
This is true.
I actually was listening, which I need to call Heath and Zane to try and get on the podcast. Remember how I told you that they're doing that thing? But I was listening to their podcast and they were answering some questions from callers.
Mm-hmm.
And one question was asking about, do you create content for you or like for your viewers? Like, is it more for you? Is it for your viewers? And they're like, that's a great question. They're talking about how when they started, it definitely felt like it was just for them. Like it was fun and like that's what they like to do. And they're like, as we grew and as our content grew and as our fan base grew, they probably didn't use fan base, but audience or whatever. They were like, it feels like it's more for like them, because he's like, every time we make something, it's like, oh, are the people gonna like this? You know,
Right.
like, oh, is this something that they're gonna want to see? And so like Keith was talking about how he's kind of getting into photography right now, and he's been like doing something different with his Instagram and like doing pictures and everything. And he was saying that like he loves it, and but then like whenever he started doing it, he was like, is this what people are gonna like? Are people gonna like this?
Right.
And he was like, it's a constant thing that like, you know, has to think about. And I was like, dang, that really has to suck. And I'm sure that's what probably David Dobrik feels a little bit too, of like, he probably enjoys being able to live his life a little bit more rather than having to like center his life around, okay, I have to have a vlog out Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. That means I have to have content. That means I have to edit. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Probably
Okay.
being able to do more things like the dodgeball show and
True.
like David's perfume. You know what I mean?
True. No, and like obviously on a much smaller scale, I kind of feel that as like a creative person. Like I'm always like, okay, I want to always like make art that I actually like, but the temptation to make art that I know that other people will like, even if I don't like it, is kind of real sometimes. And like, oh, I want, you know, I like want to make stuff that people will buy or like what people will repost, but then I also like want to make it for myself. And so again, much smaller scale, but I totally understand like the content creation art side of that.
Yeah.
So real.
Also, which we can talk about this more because I haven't actually listened, but Bryce Hall, who I really don't like, came out with a podcast, but it's about business.
Oh.
And I've seen a couple, it's like with another, like it's with an actual businessman. And I've seen a couple clips, and apparently he talks about like how he makes money, like the logistics of like how influencers make money. And I was like,
I will be tuning in. This is what we asked for.
This is my dream. So I'm going to have to listen to it and report back next week.
Please do that. No, like, actually send it to me though. Like I want to hear.
I will. I was like, wait, this is actually really interesting. And as much as I don't really like Bryce Hall, I would like to see like, yeah, how do you make money? How much money are you really making? But yeah, I saw a clip where he talks about how the guy asked him who in the Hype House makes the most money, like, do you think, and like how? And he said he thinks Thomas, and he said just off YouTube he probably makes about $17,000 a month off YouTube. And then he's like, but then he has like ads and whatever. And that was a short clip, so I'm interested to see what else all he has to say of like yeah, how do you realistically make money? And apparently he also talks a lot about like how right now they're probably making a lot of money, but like how do you make that last for when you're not making that money?
Addison Ray has entered the chat. Whoever her agent is, good job.
True. Did you see? I think it's it's Charlie, Avani, and Nikita are like about to be in like BB Rexa and like Iggy Azalea's new music video.
Not surprised.
And I was like, okay.
Okay. Yes, we must wrap this up.
I was just about to say this is going to be so long, but it's fine. Welcome back.
Welcome back. A little extra for you guys. Split it up. Do whatever you want.
Woo.
It's good to be back.
It is good to be back.
Seriously, episode 23.
Insane.
Seriously, a lot has happened since March.
That's gonna be the title of this podcast. Yeah. It'll be a long one.
Seriously, it's gonna be a long one.
Thank y'all. Seriously, it's gonna be a long one. Seriously, it's a long one. Seriously long.
Seriously long. Thank you guys for listening. I hope you're doing well.
Yep.
Go
me too.
Tigers.
Go Tigers. Always.
Go Teslas.
Go TikTok.
Go join my life group.
My husband, David Dobrik, who I love.
This glare, if you're on YouTube, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Okay, that was a little scary. All right, for real though, thank y'all so much.
Goodbye.
Have a great week. Bye, y'all.
How do I work this?